What was so funny? I was talking about something on my main channel. We was talking about Cardi and Stephon Diggs, how she broke up with him, whatever. And we always talk about for the brothers who choose to divest, who choose not to deal with black women no more. It's always like who hurt you, your mother hurt you. We already talked about the mother aspect either on here or the Patreon. I can't remember. Might have did both. And they sit here and they ask you these questions: who hurt you, who did this to you, woo 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 woo. And another aspect that a lot of these brothers has been in relationships with black women and seen the worst of themselves. They've seen traits that they have given off that they have never given off before. Ain't that crazy? You have done things that you didn't think you were capable of in these relationships, and a lot of times a person can bring the worst out of another person. A lot of these women that y'all be chasing, they're bottom of the barrel. Once you see how they live, how they live, their true personalities, how shiesty they are, how nasty their houses be. The signs are there, but a lot of men, especially when you're younger, you don't have experience, you tend to follow attraction, or you tend to follow convenience. Where the sex is convenient, you just like, okay, at least the sex is convenient, we sexually compatible, I'll just deal with it. I can get away with more with this one, or it's just sexually compatible. I try to mold her, and you can't. And a lot of these women, a lot of women are always talking about the traumatic experiences that they go through in relationships. You don't see it much for men. Now with the manosphere, you see men talking about it, but you don't see it much with men anymore, or you didn't see it. But I think a lot of these guys are it's an outlet to talk about what happened, but also not only is it an outlet to talk about what happened, it's a tool for the young guys to understand. Look here, hey, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Don't move like that. You see these signs, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Every woman got a pussy. Woo, woo, woo. So, but a lot of times people don't talk about a lot of these guys that dated black women had a very, very bad relationship, and it is just like, I don't want to deal with it no more. I've seen it. I've seen a dude who was with this one chick. She was the most worst. This was the worst bitch I ever seen in my life, right? Ever met in my life. And he left his two kids there. She already had two kids. Left his two kids there and got with a white woman. Didn't want no contact with her. No contact. And you look at it like, damn, that's a whole ass nigga, but you get to see why. When you start kind of getting to know them, like, okay, I see why this nigga split. You know what I'm saying? And you like, you see why. And a lot of these dudes had that story where I dated a black woman and they called the police, they made my life a living hell, they drained me of my money, I didn't get nothing out of it but sex here and there. I got nothing but stress out of it. And most guys not gonna speak on that. Most guys are conditioned not to really attack women. Like, especially in the black household, they really condition the men not to talk about black women. Like, suffer in silence. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really can't. The matriarchy in the black community is, and this is for everybody, you can't question the elder women, even if they're wrong. You have to allow them to disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these families, they're always right, you're always wrong. And it's messed up. It's truly messed up. But that's how it is. So most guys go in, just suppressing their feelings. And a lot of these guys had relationships with black women and they tried their darndest to change them. And they end up going to jail, the police, losing money, losing hair, being stressed. They talking about your hairline, this, that. Yeah, because I'm dealing with you. And a lot of brothers are conditioned to chase a certain look that women have. I always say women push the culture, dog. So a lot of if women didn't really care for dudes being feminine, they wouldn't do it. I was watching Love Island with my girl and shit. We watching that shit. It's not a bad show, and I think you can learn a lot from Love Island, honestly. I think you can learn a lot from watching chick flicks. I've learned a lot about it. And we watching it. And a lot of the guys are very feminine. Some of these dudes played overseas basketball, and they are very feminine. if the women didn't, if they really didn't care for it, these guys wouldn't be as feminine. But a lot of these brothers feel that, a lot of these brothers just suffer in silence. But a lot of these, oh, she called the police, she weaponized my child against me. But they always look at the guy, oh, he's a deadbeat, or, oh, why he leave her, or she left him, and he must have been terrible. So like when the relationship go left, it's always, oh, he must be terrible, or it must be him. He's a trash individual. It's always his fault. But in reality, everybody knows that this woman is terrible. And like I said, when you hear women say, "Oh, my friends are good bitches," and they all good women, they know they friends ain't shit. They know it. I promise you that. They know they friends ain't shit. Trust and believe me, I've had conversations with women about their friends group. When they say, "Oh, none of my girls cheat, all my girls good women," it bullshit. Bullshit. I knew when the chicks I was doing, I knew when their friends was cheating. I knew when the infidelity. I knew when they did hoe ass shit. Man, I knew one chick that set her friend up to get robbed. So miss me with that malarkey. Miss me with the malarkey. But it's still though, and I think guys only, a lot of guys who, it's not about proximity. You had it with Barney James. He took a white girl to prom. You gotta understand, his community is like 90% white women, right? So that's proximity. It is a thing. But I think for the guys who is not about proximity with, where I think a lot of guys, they dealt with black women. Either black women didn't really care for them, they weren't attractive enough, or they didn't have that edge. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have that thug edge to them, or they dealt with black women and it was just difficult. It was stressful. It was all about money, money, money. It was all about me, 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 and you get Nathan. You didn't get loyalty, trustworthy, clean coochie, nothing. You got stress. And then they went to go date other women, and it was more easier. Their attitude was a lot more nicer. They did what they told them to do. They asked if they okay. They created a more comfortable environment. Can you get mad for somebody for going to a more comfortable environment? And maybe they was just saying, I just wanted to see what it's about. See, and they end up liking it. I'm gonna stay here. But nobody talk. It's always you hate your mother, and that's a part of it. I think it's a lot of brothers that their mothers fucked them up, and they know it. But I think the large majority of it is a lot of the guys came into, and you got to understand too, it's different from women. Women have a laundry list, especially black women. They have a laundry list that black men must knock off. They must knock off for us to be with them. It's a long laundry list. But for us, it's a short list. It's a very, very short list. Oh, we just want this, that, and the third. We can deal with this. We can deal with that. And we cool with that. We cool with it. So we ain't really looking for much. But when black women have a list to be with the other, that list shrinks. So we see that. Our list is regardless, it's the same regardless. Especially as you get older and dudes like, the looks is not as important no more. This bitch fucked my credit up. She called a police. No. But that's the thing. Our list is our list for black women, for white women, for Arab, Indian women. Most men's list is they list across the board. It's universal. Most women's list, black women's list, is a lot shorter than it is for black men. That's what they don't want to talk about. But hey, that's all I pretty much had to say. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and the subscribe button. It's the bell icon button. Hit all the links. Hit the link in the description. Join the Patreon. That's free for 7 days. Peace.